He's throwing jabs, crosses, hooks, uppercuts. I mean, he is a much better boxer, and he has really good hands. Nada tries to go for low blows, and he has to pick him up. He slams him. But as far as fist fighting goes, Frank in They Live is much tougher than Nada. As far as hands go, he has good hands. So I got to have me some Keith David They Live in here with his fists.
All right, that's a good one. That's a great fight scene, by the way.
Oh,
that's
classic.
Such a great fight. It's such a long fight scene. I'm going to go in an opposite direction. My fights are not going to be. I don't know if I've got enough to make a complete list, but I'm going to start off with Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah.
He fought more than he used the whip. He used his fist more than he used the whip. He was not great at it because my best fight scene that I can think of in a movie was when he's fighting the Nazi, the big Nazi at the plane.
Oh yeah, it's great.
And getting his ass kicked. And it's that one scene where he gets punched squarely in the face and he stumbles back and falls on his ass and he just kind of looks up. That is such a great moment. It's like, I'm not prepared for this. But it's such like a normal human response. Yeah, you're going to get all these fighters, all these people are doing, super fights and whatnot. But I'm kind of for the layman, the guy is good, but just not good enough.
Yes.
So, yes. Yeah, so Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones, the fight scene with the Nazi at the airplane. That's my first pick, I think.
And we have to talk about the way Harrison Ford's iconic throwing of his fists. I mean, he looks like he's going to throw his back out with every punch. He is so committed. It's a perfect movie punch, and I just love his punching. Yeah, no, and
who doesn't like punching Nazis? Yeah, that's a solid one for me. So
my next one, I'm gonna pick. This is random, but I'm gonna take Letty from the Fast and the Furious franchise because Michelle Rodriguez's character in these films, she takes out Gina Carano in Fast 6. She takes out what's her name in 7? She takes out Ronda Rousey in 7. In 7, she knocks a dude out with one punch. In the first one, she's punching people. Her punches in these movies are so deadly. And I just, there's a scene where she takes on Carano in a subway and just is throwing knuckles. And I just love and she was in a boxing movie too with Michelle Rodriguez. So if I'm in a fist fighting crew, you gotta have Letty from Fast and the Furious played by Michelle Rodriguez. Because she just scraps. And I love the way she fights.
Yeah. Good call. All right. My number 2, and you're going to find this strange. I'm voting for the McFlys from Back to the Future.
Oh, of course, dude. One punch KOs.
So, one punch changed the world.
Yes.
So Marty McFly's dead. That one punch altered the future. That to me is the best fight scene. That is just outdone with one punch. But then, then you got Marty, who, all he wants to do, all he does is scrap. He wants to fight. And he's tiny, and he wants to fight, just about anybody. But his dad, that one punch took out Biff, changed the future. So that's my second favorite fight scene. That's over in a flash.
I mean, listen, I love that pick because it's hard to knock out people with just one punch. I know movies show that a lot, but I've watched a lot of street brawls as a bouncer in my life, Dave, and I don't think I've maybe seen one. So I've seen people get knocked out, but after about getting hit 15 times. It's just that one clean punch that takes people out. You don't see that in the UFC. You never see one punch knockouts or MMA. So yeah, no, that's a perfect pick, man. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna follow that up with Mickey O'Neill from Snatch, played by Brad Pitt, with his one punch knockout skills. I mean, that dude just blasts people. He knocks them in the next week. So I'm going to take him. And we talked about him on the Final Fights. Just watching Brad Pitt's physicality, the way he hits, and how much trouble he causes with his fists. I had to include him in my squad. So I'm taking Mickey O'Neill. Who's your third pick?
Okay, I gotta go with Clockwork Orange, Malcolm McDowell. Their whole life is violence. But yeah. I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna go with a scene where he basically fights his own gang in the movie and does it so gracefully with ease. But their whole life, again, ultra violence. It's all about fighting and drinking and screwing, and it's scrapping at its finest. So I got to go with Alex Mac McDowell and Clockwork Orange, just for the stylized look of it, and then just for being glorifying, again, getting back to the Warriors, glorifying gangs.
Yeah.
So.
No, I love it. I love it. So my fourth pick is Ode Soo from Old Boy, played by Choi Min-sik, or Min-sik Choi, where he learns how to box for years of imprisonment, and then when they let him loose, he has a hallway fight where he just outboxes about 30 people in a hallway fight. I mean, his fists are brutal in this movie, Dave. So watch it. Have you seen Old Boy? And that one, yeah. So his.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, he's nuts. I mean, the hammer scene.
Yeah. So good. I just love his hands. He has good jabs. Like, he can work some punches. So I dig, and he's tough as nails, too. So I had to take him from Old Boy just to add some tough as nails. Like, he got stabbed 4 times, and he's just knocking dudes out. It made me so happy. I love that movie. All right, who's your fourth pick?
I'm going to go classic on this. I'm going to go Bruce Lee in Game of Death, where he fights Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh, dude, great fight scene.
It shouldn't work because Kareem is twice his size, but he makes it look effortlessly. Of course, it's Bruce Lee, so you can't you can't go wrong with that. But it's cartoony in its style, but it's so fucking weird to see Kareem as Bruce is fighting his way through this house. But it holds up. It's still a pretty solid fight scene on that.
I mean, there's good choreography. It's a lot of fun. You gotta those movies never age. I love those films.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, my last one. This is random, but I'm taking Wesley Snipes from the 2002 film Undisputed. He plays a character called Monroe Hutchins, and he is John Levengood and I did a Final Fights episode about this, but Wesley Snipes is this prison champ boxer, and he ends up boxing George the Iceman Chambers, who's kind of a take on Mike Tyson, and he wins the fight against George. So he's this guy who just boxes in prisons. He boxes all the best guys, and he knocks out the heavyweight champ of the world. And then they keep it secret. No one knows about it. But he takes out the dude and knocks him down for the first time ever, wins. But Wesley Snipes, for another Walter Hill directed movie in Undisputed, because Wesley Snipes is really believable in it. The boxing's excellent. Ving Rhames looks amazing. So Monroe Hutchins knocked out the heavyweight champion of the world inside a prison fight. So I got to give him the all hands crew for this.
I'm stumped on this last one, but it something I was thinking about because we were talking about David Patrick Kelly, Luther from the Warriors. That made me think about John Wick, which he's in that movie as Charlie the Cleaner. So I started thinking that probably that fight scene between John Wick and oh god, now I'm showing.
Which one is it?
It's the second one. John Wick 2, where he fights the black actor. I can't remember his name.
Common.
And he fights him, of course, they're fighting all through the streets and end up, in the actual hotel itself. So, yeah, it's exhausting to watch them. I mean, this supposedly, the series takes place, over a course of, almost like one night. So it's just exhausting to see John Wick go through this incredible fight scene and then to have it end in a bar in the hotel, and then they both take time out to have cocktails, after beating the literal shit out of each other. But I'm bringing that back around to tying into the Warriors because David Patrick Kelly is in that series as well. So yeah, John Wick and the second one on that. So yeah. And and mine are random. I mean, it's hard for me to pick favorites.
You're all right, man. I hear you.
And that's why I kind of went weird, with the McFlys, of course, Harrison Ford. I kind of like the layman's fighter, the guy who, doesn't really do this that well, but he sure as hell tries. As opposed to some of the stylized stuff. So yeah, but I had to choose Bruce Lee just because that's the best. But yeah, I'm still proud of the Back to the Future, the McFlys, both the McFlys. I think that's my favorite fight scene.
They're one punch KO machines, man. You got it.
Yeah, totally. Changing history, changing the future.
No, but I guess we'll jump back into the Warriors here. Another thing I thought was interesting, I love the narrator in this, and I just loved her voice in the song she was playing, the way she said boppers. But the actress didn't know that they were only going to film her lips. So when they watched the movie, she was incredibly disappointed, but then she realized, wow, this movie has since become iconic, and her role is iconic. She looks cool. So I think I love her role. Obviously, we don't see her face, but I do like that she's this Greek chorus talking to the Warriors and nowhere to run to, baby. What a great scene. But I feel bad for her, but as time has gone on, she realizes that it's pretty neat now what they did.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she was was it David Patrick Kelly that got her that job?
Yeah, because they were on a play together, yeah.
Yeah, recommended her for doing that. So yeah, again, we're going back to the Greek mythology. Yeah, she was a Greek chorus in that. She kept you abreast of what was going on, and even though these guys were falsely accused, I also want to call her, she was calling all other gangs to beat these, or catch these guys and beat them up. So she kind of was adding to the falsehood that these guys were responsible for killing Cyrus.
And Cleon got killed too. That's crazy.
But it just holds up so well. But it really didn't strike me as a Greek, tragedy or Greek mythology until I started reading more about the movie itself and how it was made. It holds up as a great a modern fable, I guess, if you will.
What'd you think about the Lizzies?
I was a little disappointed that I think that somebody should have died in that scene.
Absolutely.
These guys got duped. The only person who was smart enough in that group was Rembrandt.
Yes.
Because he figured something was not quite right. And the fact that these guys are being chased through New York City, and all of a sudden they're going to stop and party with some girls. Like, guys, you're being chased by every gang in New York, and you're going to stop and party with some girl. And they kind of got what they deserved by, getting duped. Again, going back to Greek mythology, they're like harpies.
Oh, yeah, drawing them in.
Yeah, the Lizzies are like harpies, drawing them in.
Sirens.
Sirens seducing them. And, here these guys were just stupid to the core as far as, not keeping on the edge. And they had the advantage. Had they had more than one handgun,
yeah.
If they had more than one handgun, I think these guys could have taken out all the rest of the warriors in that scene.
I mean, Vermin was supposed to die, but they liked him so much they kept him alive. But because of that, they made the scene pointless. Yeah, I would say.
And the other one who gets hurt is Rembrandt, who was the one who was warning everybody that this is not right. We got to get back. We got to find the rest of our crew. And he's the one guy who gets slashed in the arm with a knife because he was trying to do the right thing.
And you're right, too. With this journey, Cleon dies in the beginning. Oh, well, I guess Fox dies, but no one ever talks about him again, and he's uncredited in the movie. Ajax is arrested. They probably did they need to kill somebody off? Like maybe a Vermin just getting shot?
I think to make the scene a little bit more edgier, darker, and just to kind of teach you a lesson, to stay the course. Again, these were like harpies taunting the sailors to crash into the rocks, and these guys walked right into it and got their asses handed to them. Dan Mayer got killed, but yeah, I think somebody should have gotten off in that scene. But it worked. It was the only time where the Warriors actually came close to fucking dying. So
they almost got it too, man. Jeez Louise, they almost got it.
Yeah, no, it was a close call, but it was a great scene. I love it. You're sitting there going, okay, what's happening here? And is this, too good to be true? All these chicks, waiting for you. First off, they're waiting for you in the subway.
Yeah.
And kind of eyeballing you, and you fall for it. I'm like, all right, guys.
Don't the mermaids lead you into the water and then you're dead?
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. The sirens lead, they sing a song and then they lead you to crash your ship into the rocks. And that's exactly what these guys want. So yeah, this thing is really leaning towards a Greek mythology on this. But yeah, great scene. Great scene on that.
What do you think this movie would have done? Oh, I just want to read you a couple things. So this is in regard to the character of Fox dying and the actor Thomas Waits. Finally, one night, roughly 7 weeks into shooting, Hill had enough. The production was filming at Hoyt Scheuermann Station in downtown Brooklyn, a scene in which the Warriors must make a mad dash from the cops across the subway platform. Craig Baxley, the stunt coordinator on the film, remembers Hill turning to him during the shoot and saying, "You have to come up with a way to kill this guy because I don't want him in the movie anymore." So then they just toss him in front of the train. They didn't even have that scripted. He hated Fox so much he did that to him. It's just gnarly. And then also one thing too, despite all the hurdles, all the budget battles, all the run-ins with the gangs, the Warriors opened in 670 theaters nationwide on February 9, 1979. It debuted at #1 at the box office and pulled in $10 million in its first 2 weeks, nearly double the film's production costs. People were lining up around the block at screenings. So the movie, do you think if they would have kept it in theaters, this movie could have been, let's say 50 million, which then translate to at least 150, 200 million in today's economy with inflation. It's kind of a shame this got taken out of theaters because it was on its way to become a big success.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but it also created interest in the movie that, this, now people really wanted to see it. I don't know how they were going to be able to do it at the time, but it did create interest in it because it got pulled. And, it's just like any teenager. When you tell a teenager you can't do that, they're going to do it.
Yeah, you're right.
So